Good morning. It's going to be 70 degrees here today. Old man winter's going to hit us overnight. I would like to see some cold freezing weather so my pollen allergies and stuff go away. But it won't. It'll be a rainy winter where I suffer all the way through. So I'm going to answer the questions on what I'm doing here and what the problem was. This is the panel that was all scarfed up. That's a technical term. So this is wrapped with new metal, cut and plug welded and seam welded into place. Okay, blends in with this panel, which was cut and installed the metal here. Now, the reason for the changes is I got to sand this off to change the angle. See if I got one. It's not the right one, but give you an example. See right here? So I got to sand this down so when I bring the flare up higher, see it? I won't be putting, the material I'll take off here will be added back here. That's the only difference. This will be feathered down to the metal, and this will go up, and then I'll have to do some priming and some stuff, and there's a whole slew of things you got to do. Right now, we had a line here. It was removed at one time. You can still see the old correction stick showing. Now the only thing is right here is what we're going to correct. We're going to go at two different angles. One's cut, one's to remove with 40 grit. Now, it's only got a very slight rise in it. One side cuts. If you notice when I change the angle the other way, it starts just etching right off. I've been coughing my head off all morning. I'm still working down here. You can see I had to add metal in here, so I had to cut all this out to get to the clean metal. And then since I heated it, I had to grind off any of the Bondo that was affected by the heat to get that filler out of there and sand it and clean it so I can go again. Let's get this line out. If you notice, I'm keeping this flat to the surface. I'm not letting it bobble. I'm not hedging it a little bit to sand faster. There. That's it right there. I still want to put a coat down here, a skim coat, and resand this. I'm going to touch this up while we're at it. This will have to be repacked, but I'll get it cleaned. I'll check the well first. I'm sorry, I am so congested this morning. It's just rough. Has nothing to do with the dust. Probably didn't help it, but that's it right there. And I'll get some stuff done. I'll stop. And the reason being is more of it will come off when we start block sanding it to get all the little imperfections out. I can barely feel them. You missed the black primer on. You primer the whole car, and then you sand with the blocks, keeping everything flat and smooth until all the black is gone, and then you have your surface. Now this is the panel. In the earlier pictures, it looked like cake icing. You notice all that sanding barely removed any of this, because this is reinforced with fiberglass resin. It is some tough stuff. Okay. And I got some things to do here and there. I got sanding to do up here. I got some hand sanding to do up here. And some taping. I'm gonna move around the back of the car now and show you what I was talking about. It's easier to show it than it is to talk about it. So, give me 1 second to move all of my driller stuff out of the way. There we go. Get one click in. Now, I've got to find the perfect, this will work. Oh, darn. I've taken stuff for allergies. This stuff is worthless. Only thing it does is dry me out till I end up drinking a gallon of water and still don't get any relief. Now you can see. Let me see what you're seeing on my phone as a monitor. There. It's kind of hard because I got everything in my way, including the deck that I'm going to be working on. Okay, you saw this all slathered down like that quarter fender. Okay, you know I've been putting it on and sanding it off. Now you see the shape coming now. This low here, it's high right here, so I'm gonna have to sand the contour and then fill the low spot and then correct this right here, and then right here there's a low spot, and then it will match the one on the other side, and I will be a happy camper. Now, that's how thin it is after the first sanding. You see I've done a few touch-ups since. But I'll show you the mistakes. The mistakes is when I was sanding for speed and not paying attention, I hit metal. You do not want to hit metal. When you get down close to the metal and you start seeing a shadow, you stop. That just opens up another issue to deal with, okay? So, it comes down. I'm gonna have to reflood this Well, I was in a hurry. I really butchered this one. And get it up here, and then I'll have to hand sand this lip so I don't catch it with the edge of the sander, which will automatically pull it down like this. This is probably raised because that's where the gas thing was. And guess what? I should have stayed away from it. But I was just sanding it and trying to clean it. I didn't think about it. I could take a razor knife, do my normal cutout, and then come back and go over it. So basically here again, let me show you. I can control the speed on this one. That sandpaper is just about toast already. Ta-da! Okay. So you said little things I still have to deal with. So what I'll do, I'll probably do it on camera next week after I fix these. Get ready to redo this panel for the final time. I will come in here and flood this panel from side to side with a thin coat. Now it won't have the resin in it due to the fact that it's already had resin in it and it's got the surface, the bond and everything. I'm just trying to shape it. The majority of what I'm putting on will be sanded right back off. Okay. How pretty that is. Make sure I don't get near the edges. Here's one right there I gotta sand off, no big deal. See right here? Because once I get it close, I quit, because you're going to be removing, you're going to primer it, and then you're going to guide coat it, and then you're going to put sanding blocks on it and start following these contours. And this car is nothing but a contour from one end to the other. You don't get a break. Even the hood has to have a slope to it in a contour. And we'll go over every square inch of it. This will get prepped, primered, and shot in orange. The paint will probably get sanded off, and the run makes no difference as long as this track is, the rain run is painted and protected. The deck trunk lid will be sanded, primered, and painted underneath an orange. So when I put it in the car and line it and put it, set it down, when we paint the car, I don't have to raise it. Yeah, I got a little bit carried away. I should have switched from a from the 40 possibly to maybe an 80, 60 or an 80 for the final dress down. Because now if I would primer this and block sand it, it would be smooth as glass for the paint. It'd have a nice finish. Me, this is all metal. This isn't plastic. This is this piece off the parts cart cut and altered. This piece here is the piece up there between the front of the trunk lid and the inside of the car. I just took it, cut it over, brought it back, turned it around, ground it, matched it up. I had to put relief cuts in the support piece underneath here. There's a support piece that runs in there, so I could get it to flex a little bit, because it was off just about a ½ inch, quarter on each side, of tucking in where I wanted it. That's how we got around that. See, that's a fail. You don't want to see this. You want to see this or this everywhere. And then the primer, and then you hitch it with your block sanding, and it'll just be smooth as it can be, plus the etch marks in it. Okay. I'll do this one day next week. We'll mix it straight without the fiberglass resin. We'll skim coat it on camera. Okay. Get a nice coat on it. And then we'll take the sandpaper to it, and we'll bring it down to block sanding height, because you don't want metal showing. Isn't that wonderful? All metal. I didn't want any plastic on the car. I'm still debating how to make that front valance work for me without having to use a plastic one. Ew. Trash my safety glasses. People, this panel, excuse me, has already been done. Look at that. It's ready for a block sanding and some primer. I got to do some sanding and correction to change this slope right here. This is why I just threw a piece of tape on it, because I didn't want the overspray going over, because I still want to work this up here. Probably with some 80 and some 220 by hand. And then we'll primer it, and then I'll sand it again and again to get it where I want it. So that is the sanding issue, and we'll be back on some more of it here in a little bit. Like, subscribe, and get your build on, people. It's the only thing I can tell you. Let me get my equipment moved around.